Larson, Cedric Ceballos, Devin Harris here with you. And certainly the Mavericks have had their backs against the wall. They've done an amazing job staying afloat, even facing all of this adversity. But Devin, it did feel a little bit like it finally caught up to them today.
Yeah, just not a great start. Defensive intensity wasn't there. Offensive shooting wasn't there outside of Luka. Just not a great game by a lot of guys. But, you got to give Chicago credit. They came out and played hard. They looked like a team that lost 4 in a row, and they wanted to win tonight. They didn't give up a big lead, and they were really aggressive.
The shooting percentage wasn't there, but I thought it was good enough for the twos for them to win the basketball game. But you hit it right on the mark. The defensive intensity is what this game was all about. Just putting their hands in places that they don't supposed to have them. That's what the Dallas Mavericks bank off of. Luka Doncic also getting better defensively-wise, and it just didn't seem that way. Offensive, you can't stop this gentleman. He's an unbelievable player. And I do not believe that Porzingis shot the ball great, but 20 points is not bad. He's got to get his legs underneath him to try to get some of that rust off.
Yeah, I mean, he just didn't look comfortable today, but I think, he has to get in game shape. Yeah. It's hard to get those reps from a game standpoint, but he will. It's going to take some time, but he just has to get more comfortable.
If you said that Luka would have 36, KP would have 20, and Zach LaVine would have 10, you would think that would add up to a Mavericks loss, but it was about so many other things, obviously, in this game, and so many of the Mavericks' really strong defenders are currently out. The Mavericks' second leading scorer, Tim Hardaway Jr., added to that today with an injury that he's dealing with as well, and then Chicago's bench really came to life. They had 61, and the Mavericks so shorthanded with only 11 available, just 22 bench points. So there were a lot of things working in this one, and the fact that it just appeared to be too easy, right, as we watched the Bulls just get that offensive rhythm and get their confidence, they just started, having their way with Dallas.
Well, it was a lot of easy baskets, a lot of layups, a lot of putbacks, a lot of opportunities for Dallas to commit on defense, but they just didn't. Walks all the way to the basket, and that's what I mean by the defense intensity, putting yourself in the position where your energy takes over. Sometimes the offensive side is not going to work, but you can't dictate your offense by your defense not having a lackluster effort.
Yeah, the Bulls just did it by committee. I mean, the 2 of their stars, White and LaVine, did not have great games tonight, but their bench really stepped up. And when you say easy baskets, they lived in our paint tonight with a little resistance.
That is obviously really tough to take, and it did seem like the offensive frustrations were leading to things happening and going downhill on the other end. Zach LaVine and Coby White, you can remember just 2 weeks ago, combined for 62. Remember, LaVine had the huge first quarter with 21, and then it was Coby White with a great fourth quarter. They finished and started it, and then today, just 10, just 1 made field goal, no threes. Pretty shocking to see the difference in 2 games like that. And Devin, they still are 2-0 against the Mavs.
Yeah, I mean, when these guys, struggle, the other guys need to step up. And, Marketing, I think he had a great game tonight. The bench guys, really stepped up, but it was by committee. They didn't just settle for jump shots. They got a lot of easy baskets, and they absolutely killed us in the pick and roll today.
Yeah, Marketing doesn't need to have almost 30 points against the Mavericks, especially because in this situation. But I love the fact, and I'm going to give him a nod, even though his points weren't great. Zach really had a really tremendous game. He passed the ball well, 10 assists. He guarded Luka Doncic, which was a difficult task in itself, but I didn't think he forced the issue when you're shooting 1 for 8, and sometimes that can be detrimental to your basketball team when your best player keeps shooting and shooting and shooting.
We talk about growth. I think he showed maturity in the stance of where he didn't have it going tonight, but his other teammates did, so he really, took a step back, gave the ball up, and allowed them to play well, and that's, showing growth as a maturity and as a leader.
Yeah, Cody, and he's just a young guy who just needs to develop better. I think the great thing about his situation now is Coach Donovan has came along, and he's a guy that really pushes people in and played, obviously, with superstars in OKC. It's going to help him out a lot, but he has to stay more consistent. When he's not scoring as Zach did, he has to be able to distribute the basketball, play defense, and contribute other ways.
Let's look at the three-point shooting for Dallas now, guys, because obviously during their win streak, that had really gotten back on track. Now here, these last couple of games, it is not going well, and it's hard to look at KP, who's been out for 5 months, basically, trying to find his his legs. Trey Burke, we know, can have great games. Certainly would have liked it. He played 29 minutes, only 5 points in this one. That was tough. Why do we think the three-point shooting is been so rough said these last couple?
Well, the missing of our players will be a big part of it, Dana, because Richardson can shoot that ball from out there. Obviously, Jalen, we didn't have Tim Hardaway Jr. Out there, and Dodo. I mean, those are guys who really put the ball on the ground and help other people get open shots. And usually the recipients of that are Maxi Kleber or Dwight Powell, and you have to log extra minutes. You got young guys out there, rookies that are not normally used to playing all these minutes, and it's very difficult to shoot that long ball when you're running up and down, and that nervousness of trying to impress Coach Carlisle.
Yeah, but also I think they need to take good rhythm threes. I think, sometimes they were really just quick shots and early in the shot clock instead of, getting penetration and getting out to the great threes that they need to shoot. And also, I mean, the schedule. I mean, they've been playing really every other night. Got another back-to-back tomorrow, and sometimes your legs kind of get away.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, before the game, Rick Carlisle talked about that schedule, saying they are in the toughest stretch of the season at this point, the 6-9